we'll begin with today's session, right? Resume making strategy for placements, right? Also, my marketing team has told me to do so that, please follow us on our social media handles. The reason why I'm telling you so is because it's very hard to get to know about all the jobs these days. And we always are in partnership with more than 200 companies. So we post off campus drives on different various social media handles because that is where students are, right? You don't use email, but you every day open Instagram. So if we post on Instagram, you'll definitely see that, okay, let's say TCS is hiring or let's say Amazon is hiring, right? And then you'll quickly apply there, right? So make sure that you follow us on all of them because sometimes we are a little greedy and we post something on Instagram only and then we tell on Telegram that, okay, follow us on Instagram. The link to apply is there. So make sure that you follow on all of them. Sometimes we do that for LinkedIn, that the link to apply is only on LinkedIn, right? So let us begin with the basic resume making strategies and what things should be done. I promise you, you don't need to do anything apart from this video lecture to understand how to build resume. And also, we'll be doing a lot of things very differently, right? Uh, so first of all, why do you need resume? So first, it's the first impression of yourselves that you're portraying to the interviewer. A lot of times, resume is also done for shortlisting. In fact, let me tell you, there is a company called Grofers. I was giving an interview for that in my college time, and I cleared the aptitude round. For the second round, they were taking like a quiz type of like general knowledge quiz type of. In the meantime, I saw that the interviewer just were sitting just in the next row. It was like a big hall with pedals, so I could see their screen, and they were just selecting people for the next round based upon resume, and the whole quiz part was just a dummy thing that they did not even consider. So they were rejecting based upon if the resume looks good, if it has skills or not. So a lot of times companies do this, especially startups do this, right? Keep the track of the student profile at the same time for decisions. So obviously TCS, Infosys, these are big companies, so these have HR, so they have their own portal to enter marks, right? But startups generally come to your campus and then they take your resume, and finally they sit down in the room with all the 50 resumes, and then they put it on the table, and then they put it on the table and decide which one to take, which one not to take, right? Based upon the individual feedbacks of, let's say, 10 interviewers who took those 50 interviews. Like one interview took 5 interviews each, right? So in that case, and then send students to the next round. Okay, so first of all, let me show you a few resume examples, right? Now, uh, education has changed a lot in the last few years, right? And how you studied earlier, you don't study like that now, right? So your resume also needs to be changed, right? So a lot of times, I have seen that students' resumes still look like this. This was fine if your elder brother, probably 6 years ago, was having a resume like this, but it is not fine anymore. This is an example of a very, very, very bad resume, right? It is not in trend anymore. Don't make sure that you don't have such resume. Also, this was one of our resume for our placement cell course. There's some Prefinsta placement cell wherein we are partnered with 200 companies. So we train you and then we deploy you directly in those partner companies, right? So rather than visiting colleges, they directly hire from Prefinsta. So a lot of companies do that. So this was one of the resume of Sayan, which is one of our brightest student. His resume initially looked like this. Now my point here is that when I see this resume, I'm like, do you, bro? Do you even want this job? You have not even taken time to make a proper resume. This looks like a resume which is made in 30, which is made 30 minutes before the interview. It just feels that you do not want the job. You are not trying hard to get a job, right? Then we obviously he's part of our placement cell program, so we do a lot of profile building, GitHub building, resume building. We also teach them data structures, machine learning, artificial intelligence, everything that is required for placement. So that is something else, right? So we helped him create one more resume of his, which eventually looked like this, right? Now he's finally working in now he's supposed to be working in a very, very, very big MNC at a very good package. So now finally his resume looks like this. Now, as you can see, a lot of time people are confused. Okay, sir, I know, let's say Java, but I am not very good with Java. How do I tell it to my interviewer without him asking about that? that I am very proficient in this language. Probably ask me more questions from it, and not ask me less questions from it. But I still want to be able to tell that okay, I am little bit fine, so I know the language, but not good enough. So this is a good template for doing so. That here he says that okay, Java is his primary language. I want my interview to be taken on Java. Data structures he knows really well. However, he says that Flutter and C and C++ or maybe probably Python he could have also included, right? Just like 20% of the graph. Right. So in this case, you can also tell this to one. Your resume should look like this. I'll also give you websites. People still create their resume in Word or Google Docs. You don't do that. We'll give you a proper website, which is very famous website for doing so. Right. Let me show you a few more good examples of doing so. So this is one more good example of a resume. This is also one of our placement cell students, Shashank Gharewal. Right, he's also selected in one of the top companies, and he's supposed to be working in them in a few months. Right. So again, this is a very good example of the resume. I'll also come to a fact wherein people say that okay, uh, should my resume be 1 page? Should my resume be 2 page? Should my resume be 3 page? So all of those, I'll just come. I just want to just display a few resumes before starting. Right. A kind of this resume that one of our placement cell students made looked like this. Now the point is, this is good, but seems like you are a kid, right? So you're over trying here in your resume. However, it's fine to have a resume like this, right? But it's kind of looks like very colorful, very iconic, so hard to read also sometimes. Uh, then again goes for the same thing. This was one of the resume of our placement cell student. This is his email ID here, sanjeev.ppc. So everyone has their email address like this. So again, as you can see, the formatting is not there on the left hand side. Then in the middle, no formatting, no table. So it just gives an impression that okay, I don't want this job. Uh, I'm not working hard to get it. Spelling errors are there in the resume. Alignment is not proper. It's very, very foolishly or there are 5 lines that I will definitely not read. Nobody reads career objective. Please, students, do not put career objective in your resume. If somebody gives you a resume, right, you'll directly scroll to this value, to this value, to this value, and your skills, right? Would you read all of this bit? No, right? So this is why all of this is important. Personal details and all I'll come through. So I'll be teaching you a proper resume. Just I want to show you how a few examples before we go ahead. Now, this is a good example of resume. However, it's not that flashy, but things are organized very properly here, like achievements, extracurricular, in an organized format. However, it doesn't look as good as probably this resume looks, right? And but it's actually very good. I can read everything properly, proper introduction about training, academic projects, which is the most important thing here. 4 projects he's included, time also he's written, what languages he's used, everything. So we'll come about individual point as we go further. Languages and everything is also included. Okay, then same thing, this resume looks fine. I'll say, okay, this is a proper resume made by Google Docs or Word, right? But it doesn't give me spark that, okay, that guy who had a very cool resume when I was interviewing. So when you're in the room, when the interview is in the room with the 6 other interviewer and all of them are making decisions on whom to select, not to select, you would rather want a resume that gives an impression, okay, where is that resume? He looks for your resume. He's like, okay, this guy, cool resume, amazing English, amazing skills and all of that. So, you want to leave a proper impression. So this does not give so. Um, then again, I think this is the same one for us. Right. So these are a few examples of the resume that I wanted to take. Then let's begin here. Okay. So the first and foremost important thing here is be honest in your resume. I'll tell you one example. I had included all the languages that I had barely studied. Like let's say I had for 2 days studied PHP only for 2 days in my life, and I had mentioned PHP in my resume. Also, you would do things like that. You have studied Python from a YouTube webinar, or you had attended a webinar in your college for 2 days and you're writing in your resume. Now, what happened with me there is the interviewer asked me the full form of PHP. Actually, it does not even start from P. And I did not know that. I knew a little bit of PHP, but not like I can code properly in that. The full form of PHP even does not start from P, it starts from H, hypertext preprocessor. So P doesn't come at the starting, and it's called PHP for some reason. And then I was really embarrassed that I've written. So that day I realized, okay, whatever I'm going to write in my resume has to be true. I will not fake out in your resume, because if you fake out, you are done there. You will not get selected, right? A lot of people do like this. They mention projects, and their projects has not been made by themselves. They had been made by their group, someone else in the group. So there's generally like 3 people in a project, right? So they do not even know, they are just standing there for marks at the time of the college project review, right? And they have mentioned their project, right? Now, probably your professor does not care about your skills, but the interviewer cares about your skills. Your project probably was made by your boyfriend or your best friend or the person that you friend zoned, right? Uh, so, but you do not know about anything. So make sure that you be honest in your resume. If you do not know your project, this is right time. Project is the most important thing in your resume. So if you do not know your projects, reach out to your friend zoned guy or girl who has made your project, uh, or your group partner or your best friend who has actually made the project, and learn it, right? Actually, one good thing that I used to do is, because I used to do all the projects on my own and my project was on machine learning, I always used to carry my laptop. Now, as soon as he would ask me about my project, what I would do is I would take out my laptop. I'd be like, sir, wait a second, I have made a very cool project on machine learning. Let me open my laptop, let me show it to you, and then you ask whatever you want to. So first of all, this displays a humongous amount of confidence, right? Rather than it being a piece of paper, like 2 lines about your projects, like artificial intelligence, right? In this case, it looks like that you have so much confidence, and then he's able to see that, even the cool things that you've done in your project, like this dot, call this particular class in Raspberry Pi, or probably NumPy or DBMS, SQL call, interlinking. So all of this you can show, and as soon as you show it, he is probably selected right there and then, because he knows that, okay, this kind of code only happens in enterprise level companies. If you're able to do it now, then obviously we should be selecting you, right? Then he'll just ask you basic questions about your interview, right? So this is a good approach. Always carry your laptop, and always make sure that, probably sometimes he may do it like remove 2 lines, and then he'd be like, okay, code it again. You should be able to do it. It is your project. You should be able to code your project, right? If you can't do that, you should not get selected in the company if you do not, if you can't code your project. Tell. And even at these times wherein coronavirus is all there, right? Skills are the most important thing. If you give him a chance that you are faking out and you do not have skills, then you are done, my friend. Which is why, right? Now, one more important thing here is, people ask me, sir, should my resume contain my picture? Okay, so let me just give you an example here. In fact, just give me 1 second. I'll just open one. Yeah. So here, these are personal details: my mother's name, my father's name, date of birth, address, mobile number, gender, languages. Some people even write horoscope. Some people even write hobbies. Does the interviewer care that you live in Purandarpur, Maharashtra, Kushinagar? Will he come to your house? These kind of resume were good if you were applying 10 years ago. And then I'll also tell you a difference between these kind of interview resume are good if you're just directly sending your resume to a company. But if you're sitting in the interviewer's room, he does not even need to know your address. Why waste a lot of space for all these things, right? A cool way to do it would be, just like Shashank has done. Address, Gurgaon, Haryana. That's all, right? You don't need to tell him your plot number. Come on, man. Right? Phone number, email, done. Nothing more, right? One more important thing is here. So coming back to my point, Your resume has your matrimony, your Rahu, Ketu is there for 7 years and all of that shiz, but it does not have your picture, right? Your impression is how you look. Your impression is after 7 hours when they sit inside a room to remember who was the best. He should be able to look at your resume and he should be able to look at your resume and should be like, okay, this guy, Sayan, right? He's cool. So he's able to remember you by your face now, right? So which is why if it is a cool resume with a photo, it helps the resumer remember you, like. So which is why your resume should have your profile, should have your picture. But sometimes I've seen also girls do this. They put on their TikTok photos or Instagram photos, right? Don't do that. Here, what Shashank has done is this is a selfie. Sayan has done is this is a proper selfie. But to make it a little business friendly, also, this resume is not that business friendly. This resume is like cool. But right now, in these type of days, cool is the new friendly, right? So he's made this profile picture black and white so that it looks a little professional, but still he's keeping that, okay, I want to portray myself as a cool person, right? So he's done that perfectly here. I am not sure if this guy has put in his photo. Yeah. So don't put photos like this. Come on, man. This is not like IIT JEE exam, right? Gone are the days when you should be doing like this, right? Please, guys, do not put like passport size photos. Click a proper professional photo. In fact, let me show you my resume, if I have it. So this was my resume and this was my photo, right? This is obviously you can judge me. This was approximately 5-6 years ago. So this kind of looks like a, a passport size photo, but kind of, it's to compare. It's not like this blurred and all, right? In fact, I'll just show you my resume a bit. So Atulya Kaushik, location, my email ID, my CGPA, my college, my class 10 percentage, 12 percentage. Now, this was the resume. Also, let me come back to another point. Okay, so we'll come back to customize your resume for the company a little later. First, we'll cover how long should my resume be. Now, a lot of training companies happen to come in your college, right? The sad part of all of those training companies is the person that who's coming to teach you is paid 20,000 rupees, and he's freshly graduated from a very local college where company do not come, and he did not get placed in TCS or Infosys or Wipro. Now he probably had 7-10 arrears. Now there was one particular company that finally visited his college and they are like, okay, we will teach you aptitude, we will teach you English, and then you have to go to different colleges and then teach them aptitude and teach them how to make your resume. Come on, man, you should not be listening to all of those. This is an advice that is given by all of those people that your resume should be only one page. Bullshit. I'm sorry for my language, but this is very stupid. There is no logic that your resume should be one page. Yes, in some cases it should be. Now I am going to explain you that uh, your resume needs to be one page if you are applying. If you are, let's say, 2 years or 3 years down in your career, you have done a lot of good many number of things and you are applying to, let's say, Infosys via Naukri.com or via Infosys online portal wherein people apply for jobs, right? So what happens there is the HR the HR is like, okay, I want to screen 200 interviews. I want to screen 200 resumes in a day. Okay. So it should be only one page so that I can read it quickly and I can just check that, okay, you are applying for Python based profile. Do you know Python? All of this thing. Or maybe some wrong resume has come, somebody who is applying for a Python profile and knows Java and Python is nowhere mentioned. So they just want to check all of that and then directly call you for interviews. And out of those 200 resumes, they will call 190 of those for interviews. And then those 10 would be who did not even mention Python in their resume and by mistake applied incorrectly. So that is where your resume should be one page so that the the HR can find the relevant things, because he or she is not seeing you in person. He's not interviewing you. Your interview resume could be one page, two page, three page. Not 4 page, 5 page, 6 page, but 1, 2, 3 is fine, right? Now the reason why I say 1, 2, 3 page is fine, or even long resume is fine, the point is, if you give him more talking points, rather, so let's say I am blank, my resume looks like, my resume probably looks like this. Okay, my skills are C programming, Microsoft Office, Corel Draw. Will he ask me question about Microsoft Office? No, he does not even care. Do not write Microsoft Office, Google Excel sheets and all of that. Corel Draw is not going to ask me question. The only thing that he gets from here is C programming. Then he's like, okay, Python using Arduino, all of that, all of that. Then he's like, okay, he's written in skill C programming. Now let me ask him about DSA, because I am not able to find anything good to ask. So now he's asking you questions about graphs and dynamic programming, Python, because you gave him room to think that there is not enough stuff in the resume. In his skills, he's only written one thing. What should I ask? Right? Now, he will ask you anything that you would be not prepared for. Right? However, if you mention the things that you already know, so let me take my resume example itself. Right? Uh, so my skills are C, C++, MySQL, Oracle, assembly language, HTML, CSS, iOS app development, Java, data structures and algorithm, database and analytics, and all of these. So there are a lot many things that he can talk about. Apart from that, I have also written about the Android integrations that I've done. I've done branch IO integration, Clever Taps integration, AppsFlyer, deep linking, referral programs, UPI. I worked in a company which launched UPI as first. In fact, let me tell you, I worked for a company called TruePay, which got rebranded and bought by Google, and it was called GPay, or earlier it was called Tez. So whatever Tez or Google Pay app that you use, a good part of it was, in fact, mobile gas, electricity, DTH was something that I integrated in that. Right. So this was my resume just like 1 year after college. I've written properly. So, you give him more talking points. So let's say post registration system, Android. Then I'm like, okay, smart bot AI, Python. Then hand gesture based recognition, IoT. Perfect. So I'm giving him a lot of points, and Android again. So I want him to know that, okay, I am referring Android again. Please ask me questions about Android. I really, really want you to ask questions about Android. Here also, in fact, I have made a complete thing about Android integration. One part is completely about Android integration. I am giving him enough hints that, please, I am very, very, very good at at Android. Do not ask me questions about HTML, CSS. Please only ask me about skills in Android. And then for college skills, data structures algorithm I've given, ask me anything about data structures, right? So obviously he will ideally be asking you one thing about your college, that is C, C++, Python and data structures. And then a little part of your interview would be on the skills that you know. Ideally, it is mostly referenced. The skills is always checked from your project, right? Uh, then, so this is the main thing. Your resume could be as long as you want it to be, right? And then doesn't matter, because right now I am sitting in the interviewer's room. He will not think, okay, his resume is very long, let me not select him. He think it like, okay, let me ignore 70% of the things that he's written in his resume. 30% I will take and ask, right? Now, from that 30%, he will ask the same question that I want him to, because it is out of my resume, not out of syllabus. I will impress him with that 30% that he's taken from my resume. So that should be your approach. Put the questions directly in his face that ask me this, and I promise you he will ask you that, right? In fact, let me tell you one more example here. So let me tell you here itself. So we had made a resume for one particular guy whose thing was, he had mentioned his project, and just after the project he has mentioned uh, software software engineering. What are those agile software methodologies used? Right. It's been a very long time since my college. So agile, Big Bang. Uh, and you had spiral model, and then you had waterfall model, iterative model, right? SDLC method used, right? So here, just after the project, we had given a line, SDLC colon agile. software testing, big bang testing, and black box testing. Now he's like, okay, I see two words here. I see agile. I see big bang testing. Now he's definitely going to ask you questions from tell me what is agile. Tell me what is SDLC. Tell me what is big bang testing. Now the point is, you fooled him to ask you this question. It was directly given in your resume. So assume like instead of project two, uh, right. So let's say write project details and lines about my project, and finally I write like SDLC, agile, and testing method, big bang. Right. So obviously he's going to ask you now this question. Now this is something that I used to do a lot. I would, and you could also do this in questions. So I was very good in data structures, trees, which is one of the most difficult part of trees of data structure. I used to know it really well, but I did not know, let's say, SQL very properly. But what can we do? So I wanted to waste his time in data structures only. So as soon as, let's say, he's asking me about my project, so I will say, okay, I did some Android integration in this, wherein the contacts of the user were stored in a linked list format. So, however, I did not do like that. Now he's like, okay, you have said a word linked list. Now I am going to ask you questions about linked list. I have fooled him to ask me question about linked list because I ended my introduction or my project with the word linked list. I fooled him. So you could also do the same thing always in your resume. So make sure that you do it. Then projects. Projects are the most important thing. I told you earlier. Make sure that you mention your project. If you do not know your project, in fact, if I am to show you a few things about, let me just search it, Cape Gemini. In fact, in the last lecture also I had shown. So this is the HR sheet given by Capgemini to their HRs or technical interviewers. So this gives you marks out of 1 in poor, 2 below average, average, good, outstanding, out of 5 things, that is subject knowledge, behavioral competency, communication skills. And in, let's say, subject knowledge, there are 3 parameters: subject understanding, then second parameter is programming skills, then the third parameter is project work. They are giving you 5 marks for project work. Obviously he's going to ask you question about project. Same thing is what TCS also does. So TCS also has 10 marks for projects, 5 marks for certifications, right? So make sure that you mention and know your project. He's going to ask you about your project. Even if you have not done a project, make sure that you buy a course online from any website and do a project. In machine learning, artificial intelligence, these are the cool things these days, right? So which is why I will suggest. So in my time, Android was the coolest thing. Right now, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and business analytics are the cool things in trend. Next thing here that I want to talk about is customizing your resume for a company, right? Same resume for TCS, same resume for Amazon, same resume for Flipkart, same resume for Microsoft, same for Infosys, same for Wipro. Why? Why? If you, let's say, obviously there's a difference between a product based company resume and a service based company resume, right? In product based, you will want to mention your projects a lot, right? However, an extracurricular activity is very minimalistic, right? In service-based companies, yes, extracurricular activities a lot, and there's a reason behind why service-based companies want that. Okay, you have some extracurricular activities. It is a psychological evidence conducted by these doctors and psychological people that if you are into sports or activities, you are less likely to be part of uh, you know how do I tell it to you? Don't get offended here, but you're less likely to be drug addict, and you're less likely to be arrogant. You're more likely to be a team player, right? All of these company value a lot because one of my friends were working for this company. I cannot name that company because it's a little negative thing about it, right? The company conducted because it's actually a very big company with over 2 lakh employees. the company or the project leader found that somebody was smoking up or was doing drugs and then coming to office, right? Now what was happening is after a few days, and I'm talking to you like a friend right now, which is because I want to give you a proper advice, unlike other teachers who can't tell you the honest truth. So which is why I want to tell you this. So the company conducted urine samples for everyone, all the 500 people in the next day, and they have the right to do so, right? So which is why the companies try to do background check. By some companies also visit your home, and they have agencies to do so. The companies also take care that you have some extracurricular activities, so to make sure that okay, they minimize the number of people getting into the company who would ruin the company culture. Okay. And guys, don't worry. I will take up questions at the very end of the lecture, so you don't have to worry about it. Right? I promise. So customize your resume for the company. Also, one more good thing is, let's say I am getting interviewed for Flipkart, right? If I mention something about Flipkart, let's say in my project, I implemented search using binary search in my project, and my project was in Android, and then something similar is also done in Flipkart. You bracket your company. Now the interviewer will say, okay, will see that okay, you have written Flipkart word. He now knows you desperately want this job. You want this job because you have created a new resume with the name of that company, and then probably he would ask you this question. And this was something that happened when in one of my interviews. I did this. He asked me, why have you written the name of the company? I told him clearly, sir, I wanted to tell you that this is my dream company, and I want to work here. Doesn't matter how my interview goes. Obviously, we've just began with the interview, right? I'll try my best, and if I get selected, I will work really hard, etc., etc. All the gatha, right? But I meant it. It was my dream company. I wanted to be there. I wanted to tell the interviewer that okay, जी जान लगा दूंगा, or I'll try my best in the company. You know, you'd be very happy to have me. And then obviously you test my skills, right? So in that case, what happens here? Let's say same marks for two people. Now he will select me because he's like, he wants to work here. I promise 10 years of his life he will be in this company, unlike these people who may go away after 2 years. Obviously, retention is a very humongous cost for all of these companies. Finding new talents is very difficult for any given company, right? So you customize your resume. This is very, very important, right? Again, take your laptop with you. A lot of people do this. They just give the resume and then no laptop, nothing. If you're aiming for product based companies, my friend, your laptop is more important than your resume. All the product based companies these days, they want to be demonstrated of what you've made. If you show your project, if you show your website, if you show your application that you've uploaded on Android, anything, show it to him. Don't be like, okay, he's not asked me. It is your time. Take the chance. He's like, sir, I know that you want to ask questions. Since we were talking about Android, I just want to show the application that I have made. I have the source code ready. Keep it open already. Keep the computer in sleep mode. Do not restart all of it, right? And then directly show him. Now this displays confidence. He is able to see you can code. He's like, ladke mein baat hai. Like the guy is very, very good, right? So you, all that you need to do is show confidence, right? Now this is specifically for product based companies. Generally service based companies do not care about your coding skills, to be honest. They just want people who can speak good English and have good aptitude and know C, C++, no object-oriented language, and no procedural language. That's one, right? And obviously have some certification, but they just want to see certification. Okay, certification is there, certificate is there. Let him give 5 points. I do not even know. However, product-based companies are not like that. They will, they will be like, okay, this guy has GitHub is God for product-based companies. Upload your app URL, upload your source code on GitHub, do frequent posting on GitHub. If you want to get placed in companies paying more than 10 lakhs, do GitHub. I was placed in a company called InstaMojo, which was paying, which came to our campus paying 18 lakh rupees. And then I later joined that company also. Uh, I showed my GitHub profile there, and probably that made the difference. Right. One more thing that I did not do, but a lot of people do this. Instead, additionally with the resume, they also create resume website. Mostly UI UX people do this. Now, this is a very good trend these days. Is that you create your website. Let's say You want to upload your GitHub code, you want to upload your Android application, you want to show your UI UX skills, you want to show that okay, you've coded this website in Angular, right? Or you've coded this website, or you have hosted this website on AWS, so you know cloud, you know servers, whatever. So you can show it there, right? Resume. Obviously, if you show a website, it is going to leave a positive impact. He's like, okay, this guy is cool. He knows how to deploy on AWS. He knows how to write HTML and CSS. I can see some codes of uh, his other projects also uploaded there, right? So let's say I really want this guy, and let's say Flipkart is coming. Flipkart is like, finally we took 100 interviews, but we want to only select 10 out of this college, right? Because that college has only paid us 1 crore rupees. Honest truth, colleges pay companies to recruit number of students, to recruit X number of people from their colleges. Yeah. Um, so then they're like, okay, your interviewer should be your advocate. That okay, let's say this guy Atulya, he's very good, and he opens up your laptop, and he's like, let me go to his website and let me show things to you. This is his app. This is how he looks. This is the website that he himself is deployed on AWS. This is etc. etc. So he's like advocating you, and you want this to happen because many a times all the people are good, right? Obviously, if Google is coming to IIT, right, all the people in IIT are very good, right? But they want to only select 5 people, right? So I have seen, because I have also gone for recruitment in various different colleges, right? So I have seen us as interviewers fighting like cats and dogs inside the room, that I want this guy. If this guy is not there, I will not come to office tomorrow. This happens in a startup, and because I worked in a startup, obviously does not happen in MNCs. They have very strict rules, but we were fighting like cats and dogs. I want this guy. I don't care about you. This guy should be there, and all of that. So you want him. You want the interviewer to be advocating you. So, and then you want him to have resources and material so that he can influence other people. So, which is why a resume website is a very good strategy. If you don't have it, I will say create it on WordPress, and then this is very easy. In fact, all the computer science people should know this. Create it on WordPress and buy a domain for 1,000 rupees. 1,000 rupees is nothing. Okay. For your, if you spend lakhs and lakhs of rupees for 22 years of your life, right? Uh, Finally, to get a job, can't you spend 1,000 rupees for a good resume website? Obviously, not even 1,000. If you go to GoDaddy, GoDaddy will give you the website domain URL for 99 rupees for the first year, and then 999 rupees for the second year, right? So 99 rupees only. Create a WordPress website, link it to your domain from GoDaddy, and then create it. So good impact goes, and also mention your resume. Also mention the link of this website in your actual resume, also, because he would not even remember what is the name of the website. Okay, so this is one of the example of how your resume website could be. Like, it would be your home, basic information about you. He clicks on resume, can see your resume. He can see your portfolio. So portfolio is like, you created a website, you created an application, you uploaded your GitHub Pro code, anything else, right? So make sure that you do that here. Blogs, contact information. I have seen a lot of people even uploading their whole source code of machine learning. There was one student of our placement cell who got placed in Amazon at a package of 24 lakhs. And you can go and search about Prep Insta placement cell. It's like a program wherein we select only 1,000 students a year, 3 batches, 300 students 3 times every 3 months, and then we help them get placed in our partner companies, right? And we teach them machine learning, all of that stuff, right? So this person, there was one person who upload, for whom we created his resume website, and he had uploaded a YouTube video demonstrating how he's able to identify that this car is Toyota Corolla, or this car is Maruti Suzuki. So he had created a YouTube video demonstrating it, and then later below it there was a code of it, right? Probably if you're aiming for 3-4 lakh companies like TCS, Infosys, Cognizant, Wipro, DXC, you don't need to do it. You can do it. Obviously, in that case, it will leave a positive impact because these are tremendous times and jobs are less. But if you want to get placed in Amazon or all of these companies, having a website and uploading your GitHub code, uploading your website on AWS and all of these things are really cool. That is what they care for. That can you, obviously they know that you can reverse a linked list, but can you code? Can you do machine learning? Can you do Android app development? Can you do Angular? Can you do React? These companies care about that, and then they will ask you data structures definitely, because these kind of skill based coding is very easy. You type something automatically, editor will give you all the hints possible, right? But actual coding logic is checked in data structures, so data structures will be asked. But this is very important, right? Then again, certifications, highly important. TCS gives 10 marks for certifications. Capgemini gives 5 marks for certification. These companies have specific marks because obviously they recruit in lakhs, not lakhs, 20,000, 30,000, or all of that. So they have marks. They're like, okay, they tell interviewers to upload marks to a portal, and then automatically the tool downloads the sheet of the people who have obtained the highest marks, and then is sent to colleges, right? So no things like, okay, people are fighting, I want this guy, why are you not selecting it, like that. Nobody, it's in nobody hands, right? So these companies give marks out of 5, 10, all of that. So make sure that you do certifications. Also, Udemy certifications are piece of paper. You can burn them and nobody would care. Nobody cares about a certificate from Udemy. Udemy certificates are only good if you want to just learn for your own benefit. That's what, right? So let me tell you one example is my brother who's doing an artificial intelligence course, and he's in his final year from VIT Vellore, and he's aiming for these product-based companies. He did a machine learning course from Udemy and business analytics course from Udemy and artificial intelligence course for Udemy. And the reason why I told him to do so is I told him that okay, it just costs 500 rupees, buy all the three, watch like 2 3 videos of each of them, and then decide which one do you like more, which one is your interest, and then based upon that I will buy you 20,000. I will ask my parents to buy you a 20,000 rupees course from Coursera, right? So Udemy courses, nobody interviews like interviewer also knows the truth about Udemy. He's also an engineer, right? Udemy courses, he's like, I did 10 Udemy courses. Doing Udemy courses does not mean that you have skills. Udemy courses just means that you just bought it and probably didn't do anything. And Coursera certification and upgrad certification, even Prepinsta would be launching certifications in like 2 3 months, would mean that you've spent good money. You will only get certification if you complete all your projects, if you scored really well. So certifications highly important. Do it. Else, out of 5, you will get 0. Definitely. Just like I showed you the link for Capgemini, 5 marks for certification. TCS, 10 marks out of 70. So 1 divided by 7% is for certifications. Right. Then again, give direct questions, just like I told you that, okay, one of uh, one of our Prepinsta placement cell students, he was giving interview for our partner company ZS. Right. So we referred him to ZS, and ZS obviously Prepinsta has good relations. Right. So they accepted him, and we taught him for 3 months and all of that. Right. Post that, obviously ZS and Mu Sigma, these companies are data science companies. So you should know SQL, DBMS, and Mongo, all of these, right? MongoDB and all of these, right? So in his resume, we obviously take like a personalized one-to-one resume making session individually with each Prepinsta placement cell student for 1 hour. So what we did is we told him to write inner join as a keyword at one place. Now the point is, the reason why we did so is as soon as and this actually happened, the interviewer saw inner join, outer join written. Now he's like, tell me what is inner join and outer join. And it was written in his project. Now he's like, okay, I fooled you to ask me this question. And in fact, my Prepinsta mentor told me that, okay, put these 2 words in your resume. He will ask you questions. He actually asked. And this always happens because, this is easy. Fooling interviews is very easy, right? I always say this thing, don't let the interviewer take your interview. Okay, let him take the interview. There's a huge difference. These are the exact 2 lines In the first line, I also said the same thing. In the second line, I also said the same thing. I'm like, if the interviewer is taking your interview, so he's like, I'll ask my questions, whatever I want to ask, you just come and sit. Okay. The second part is, okay, you try asking the questions that I want, that you think that you are asking, but I will fool you to ask the question that I want you to ask. For example, if I say inner join, outer join, after he's asked me about my project, I have fooled him to ask me inner join, outer join. He's only heard the last two words. If I am saying linked list, he's only heard that. If I'm saying SDLC in my resume in a bulleted and bold and italics format in different color, he will ask you. So your resume should be your answer key, should be your cheating material. Okay. So other things to include in your resume should be also, guys, please. My team is telling that please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and like the video. If I give you some good things, make sure that to show me appreciation, you just click on the like button and the subscribe button. We are a little greedy here. We want you to watch many other videos coming on our YouTube channel. Sorry, please click on that button. YouTube. Okay. Uh, Personal information, yes, include, but like in a very small format. In fact, where did that go? Personal information, like just these lines, just this much. This is even more. Uh, where is Sayan's personal information? Done. Three lines. He's not even given his whole address. He's like, Gurgaon, I live in Gurgaon. Do you want to come to my house for Rishta? No. Just know that I'm from Gurgaon. Okay. Same thing. He's like, okay. So he's given a little more information, but that's it. Again, next thing is, I please recommend you that, okay, always give your skills like that. In my resume, I've not done it because I was old school 4 5 years ago, but 5 6 years ago. But these times you want to show that, okay, I know Java, and you also want to show, also you would have seen in the interview that, okay, rate yourself out of 10 in Java. And this is a famous question. Now the point is, he's like, he wants to know, are you good in Java? He's like, if you say 9 on 9, I will ask you difficult question. If you say 7 on 10, then I will ask you medium question, but maybe you know them, right? So you just want him to know that, okay, I know, probably I even know Angular, but I just studied it for 1 day. So I will only fill the bar like 10%. Okay. So make sure that it's like that. Your personal information, hobbies and interests, I will say don't include them for product based companies, but definitely include them for service based companies, right? And not like too much. So, what is there in my personal resume is hobbies and interests. Extracurricular activities, a swimmer having competed at state level and zonal level, won various quizzing events in school and college, participant in Bonvita quiz contest, a Neil O'Brien show. So actually, I'm not sure, maybe you guys are, I am very old. There was this Neil O'Brien Bonvita quiz contest on television, just like KBC. I was part of that. Played cricket, keen interest in world economy and all of that, right? So I'll say even I was stupid back then. I was writing so many lines. I should have used like 4 5 words at max. Words not, or my paragraph should not be as long as this highlighted information here. So, sorry, my bad. Then internship also. One more thing is, in internship, always make sure that you do some CSR activities or like some Samaj Seva activities. So just like here, I kind of interned in Shakuntala Junior High School and worked like an intern teacher in primary school in my college time in my summer vacation. So I was teaching people about physics uh, of 7th class, 8th class, and those were from very poor background, and it was a Divyang school. By Divyang schools, a school for people with special abilities, right? Then app on Play Store, App Store. Take your resume-based project with you, bracket laptop, link to your website is super cool. Hobbies and interests. Give obvious clues, just like I told you earlier. Hobbies and interests should be there. Personal information should be there. Then that's all. Right. So just a few things. As my social media team keeps on saying, I think Adil is replying on the chat on the left hand side of yours, or if you're watching on phone below side of yours. Make sure that we are very greedy. We want you to be on our social media platforms. We want to see your memes. In fact, let me just show you the stupid meme that we posted yesterday. Also, Prepinsta 2021, maybe I follow it. So this was work done by Shivi. Is my internet not working? Right. So we kind of post memes also. Like when you have your interview tomorrow, there's like a song playing also. Right. And we also post like some more memes. We also post like information like good information like AMCAT, CoCubes, what is the difference between each of them, companies hiring, all of that. We also post these off-campus drives. So Amazon is hiring. All right. If you go to 2020 and all, right. So 2021, Amazon hired with us. So make sure that you apply there. One last thing that I would also want to mention, this comes from our marketing team is, and I also spoke a lot about placement cell. So what happened is, I actually asked my team that okay, give me all the resume give me the resume of our placement cell people, right? So they give me all these resume and then I changed the name. Then they were like, okay, if you are saying placement cell resume and all of that, wouldn't people ask what is Prepinsta placement cell, right? Then I was like, okay, let me just tell them what is Prepinsta placement cell. However, I'm just telling you, we will not select you. Our bar is very high for Prepinsta placement cell. You will only get selected if you are very good. So last year, 99,000 people applied, and we selected 1,014 people. Out of three batches, one was Jan, one was May, one was September, just like that. So every 3 months there are batches. So Prepinsta placement cell is like a 3 months or 6 months program wherein we essentially do not take any money from you. We take like a partial refundable amount that will be refunded to you. It is just that if you pay, obviously, if it is free, so we just checked, okay, if it's free, in that case, people don't study well, right? People are like, it's free, why should I study? I don't want to get placed, right? But it's like a refundable or non-refundable amount which you pay with us. Then we help you get placed in all of those companies, and you don't pay us anything. It's like a very small amount, and we help you get placed in all of these companies. There are 200 plus partner companies with Prepinsta. In the last batch, 200 students were placed. 95% of our students who joined the batch got placed. Highest package was 21 LPA, and the average package of the last batch was 6.3 LPA. Right now, colleges do not. A lot of corporates are telling that they do not want to visit campuses because it's not safe for their employees to travel. So they want to hire more from Prepinsta Placement Cell, which is why we may uh, be selecting 2,000 students this year, up from 1,000. So which is why we are just doing a little marketing. Last year we launched it. We did not even do marketing at all. Were partnered with a few colleges. We saw a few good students in our online classes, and we automatically, we told them, okay, don't pay us anything. Only pay us once you get selected in a company. Right. So you can also join it. The link is in the description below. Again, I'm telling you, we will select you based upon an interview. You will get interviewed with us. It will be a telephonic interview first. Based upon that, we will select you. Our bar is very high. 99,000 people applied. 1,013, 14 people were selected last year. This year, it's around 2,000. Right. So this is about most of the things. So thank you guys for joining this session. I will be seeing you in the next one. Thank you.